The funerals continue in Floyd County. Today, hundreds honored Prestonsburg Police Captain Ralph Frazier. And we'll have the latest on a deadly police shooting in Ohio that led to demonstrations.
And severe weather alert day coverage continues as severe thunderstorms remain possible through the next couple of days. In fact, we just had a new warning issued. The very latest is next. This First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
For the second day in a row, we've had heat and then severe storms across the region, and we might not be done with the severe weather just yet. Meteorologist Evan Hatter joins us now with the very latest. Evan?
Well, that's right, Steve. We have had our severe thunderstorm watch in place for about an hour now, and it looks like we have just added a new severe thunderstorm warning to the mix. There's the watch you see essentially along and north of the Mountain Parkway corridor, while also taking in counties like Estill and Lee in portions of the Kentucky River Valley. This goes until 7 o'clock for the northern portions of the area. Let's go to Pinpoint Doppler. Here's the very latest. The heaviest storms right now in progress, stretching from Corbin toward portions of, let's say, into Knox County near Barberville, back through Whitley County, just south of Williamsburg along I-75, and in far southeastern portions of McCreary County. We do have, and I'll move the radar here to the north so we can show you what's going on. A very small portion of Rowan County just went under a severe thunderstorm warning. It also includes Fleming County to the north and west for winds of 60 miles per hour as this thunderstorm complex moves through. We begin with that level 2 slight risk for everybody as we run through tonight. Damaging winds and heavy rain, the main threats. Watching 2 clusters of severe storms right now. One moving through central Kentucky, the Lexington metro area now under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And folks, just south and east of Maysville, and that takes in areas just north of Moorhead as we watch more thunderstorms pop throughout the afternoon. So we are not done with the severe weather just yet, despite the fact that we have already seen some strong to severe storms this afternoon. You see the full breadth of the situation, and we've got plenty on the way as we head through the evening hours, and we'll be here keeping an eye on things. I'll have the very latest on when we could see more strong to severe storms coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you very much. We've, of course, been covering the funerals of the officers in Floyd County who died last week in the line of duty. Today, it was the procession and funeral of Captain Ralph Frazier with the Prestonsburg Police Department. Captain Frazier patrolled the streets of Prestonsburg for nearly 4 decades. It was only fitting that he be taken through one more time so the community can say thank you. The procession did pass by Prestonsburg High School, which is where Captain Frazier was a school resource officer for the last several years.
He was always talking to students. Students were coming up talking to him. He attended extracurricular events. Ralph was always a presence at Prestonsburg High School.
That presence will certainly be missed, especially when students come back to school. There is a small memorial at the school, a bouquet of flowers and balloons with Captain Frazier's badge number. The school says they hope to put something more permanent at the school at some point. In Akron, Ohio, 25-year-old Jalen Walker died last week when police shot him more than 60 times after he fled a traffic stop. Yesterday, dozens of protesters outside the county jail demanded the release of demonstrators arrested on Sunday after police revealed body cam video of the shooting. CBS's Elise Preston spoke with Robert DeJournet, Jalen Walker's cousin and the pastor of Walker's Family Church, and asked him about that video.
Dozens of protesters gathered outside the county jail yesterday demanding the release of those still being held on charges ranging from rioting to failure to disperse. We reached out to local authorities asking them to confirm if tear gas had been used to disperse those protesters last night. Meanwhile, the community and Walker's family is still working to process what happened. Robert DeJournet is not only Jalen Walker's cousin, he's also the pastor of Walker's Family Church. We sat with him after he conducted a Bible study wearing a Justice for Jalen Walker button on his chest. We asked him how he felt the first time he saw the body cam video and heard the gunfire that took his cousin's life.
The first thing that came out of my mouth after I saw the shots, and even when he was on the ground being shot, was Jesus. And I just lost it. I just wept because nobody deserves that.
And this was a man that you've known since
He was
birth.
born.
Walker was unarmed when he was shot, but police say a shot was fired from his car before the 8 officers pursued him on foot. Yesterday's protests at the county jail were outside this downtown curfew zone because it remained calm last night. The mayor says he intends to lift the curfew moving forward. Elise Preston, CBS News, Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio's mayor says he is ready to lift a curfew put in place after protests over the deadly police shooting. President Biden ordered flags around the country be flown at half-staff for the remainder of the week to honor the victims of the mass shooting in Highland Park, Illinois. In his official proclamation, he said the act is a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless acts of gun violence that were carried out on July 4th. Flags at the White House, all public buildings and grounds, military posts, and naval stations will be lowered until sunset on July 9th. They will also be lowered at embassies and other U.S. facilities abroad. 7 people died after the mass shooting at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park. They range in age from 35 to 88 years old. Dozens of others were injured. Airport security screeners are finding an average of 17 guns a day. The Transportation Security Administration says if that pace continues, they will find more firearms this year than any other year. The TSA says it caught more than 3,000 guns in the first half of 2022. The previous full-year record of 5,972 was set last year, and the TSA says more than 80% of those were loaded. People can bring firearms in checked bags, but they must be in a locked, hard-sided case, unloaded, and declared at the airline check-in counter. The guns also have to be in a different case than ammo. If a gun is discovered at a TSA checkpoint, it can result in a fine of up to $10,000. Top lawmakers on the Senate Intelligence Committee are asking the Federal Trade Commission to look into TikTok. The call for the probe comes amid allegations the social media company has made, quote, repeated misrepresentations on its data security practices. The committee says a recent BuzzFeed report on TikTok's Chinese parent BitDance raises fresh questions about its privacy practices. U.S. officials have been concerned about China pressuring BitDance to hand over data of U.S. users. They say that could pose a potential risk to U.S. security. So far, no comment yet from the FTC or TikTok on the committee's request. A commercial real estate appraiser formerly used by the Trump Organization is in civil contempt of court. Cushman & Wakefield is being fined $10,000 per day for not complying with the subpoenas from the New York Attorney General's office. The appraisals done by the firm are a central part of the probe into the AG's civil investigation into the Trump Organization's financial statements. A spokesman says Cushman & Wakefield have been cooperating with the AG's office and announced plans for an appeal. The firm was employed by the Trump Organization for years before it resigned following the January 6th siege on the U.S. Capitol. CBS News has confirmed former President Trump's White House counsel Pat Cipollone has agreed to testify Friday before the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. A bombshell testimony last week revealed he had expressed major concerns over the events of that day. The committee is also preparing for another big public hearing next week. CBS's Natalie Brand reports on the latest developments.
The House Select Committee investigating January 6th wants to hear from former White House counsel Pat Cipollone on the record. Members issued a subpoena to depose Cipollone following last week's bombshell testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, the aide to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
I remember Pat saying to him something to the effect of, the rioters have gotten to the Capitol, Mark. We need to go down and see the president now. And Mark looked up at him and said, he doesn't want to do anything, Pat. And Pat said something to the effect of, and very clearly had said this to Mark, something to the effect of, Mark, something needs to be done or people are going to die and the blood's going to be on your effing hands. This is getting out of control. I'm going down there.
Hutchinson said Cipollone had also expressed serious legal concerns about the former president potentially going to the Capitol on January 6th, something his Secret Service stopped.
Do you remember which crimes Mr. Cipollone was concerned with? In the days leading up to the 6th, we had conversations about potentially obstructing justice or defrauding the electoral count.
Vice Chair Liz Cheney has said it's possible the Select Committee could make a criminal referral to the Justice Department, and that could involve the former president himself.
The Justice Department doesn't have to wait for the committee to make a criminal referral, and there could be more than one criminal referral.
The Select Committee has scheduled its next televised hearing for next Tuesday, which is expected to focus on domestic violent extremism and the rioters who breached the Capitol that day. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Committee members have said they've been investigating any potential connection between the right-wing groups involved in January 6th and the White House. They've also been looking into how the groups were organized and who financed the travel. Coming up on First at 4, we'll take a look at a new report from the Labor Department showing the high demand for workers.
Plus, pinpoint Doppler's already gotten to work out today, and I think it's going to sweat a little more as we head through the next couple of days, and not only because it's so hot outside. The details coming up.